What's up, everybody? Renfail here, and it's time for me to dive into my initial review of New World Aeternum. Now, if you've never been around my channel before, I do various levels of reviews of the games I play. We start off and we play the game for a few hours, usually 5 to 10, sometimes a little bit more, and then I drop an early thoughts video, which I've already done. Then we get a little deeper in. In this case, I'm around 30 hours of gameplay. We're going to do the initial review here, which is my initial thoughts after having played the game for a significant amount of time to understand how all the mechanics work and how all the things are coming together, and generally getting an idea of how the gameplay is. And then later on down the road, I'll be doing a final review. In this case, it'll probably be right around the time, right, like just before Dragon Age Veilguard launches, because that's going to be the next game that we're playing. As we roll into that game, I will be then coming out with my final review on New World Aeternum. And after that point, we'll see whether or not this becomes a staple game, where it stays in my repertoire and I play it like once a week in between the mainstream games or not. So far, I'm having a lot of fun. It's a really good game. I do have a couple of things I want to nitpick. It's not a perfect experience, but it is a genuinely very pleasant experience so far. So let's dive in. So I am playing on the PS5. I have been playing on the quality setting with uncapped FPS, and the performance has been absolutely buttery smooth. I've been genuinely impressed with how well this game plays on the PS5. I did go live the moment the servers went live on the 15th. We had 0 issues. There were no queues. We were able to get right into our server of Aquarius, and we have since had no issues whatsoever connecting. It's been one of the best launch experiences I've had with a live service game in a very long time. So I've been very impressed with that. Now, I would kind of expect that to be the case, given that Amazon has been running the New World servers for the PC for the past 3 years. So this Aeternum launch on console, they've kind of worked out all the kinks of that. But even if you look at, say, World of Warcraft, Blizzard still has issues whenever they do like classic server launches and things. They've gotten better over the years, but I generally expect to see some types of hiccups when it comes to launch days, and I haven't had really anything so far. Overall, I would say my experience right out of the gate, I would give this game an 8 out of 10 in my initial review, which an 8 out of 10 for my channel means that it is a damn good game. There are a couple of things that are holding it back, and I kind of want to go over those because I think that they're tiny things that for me aren't signs of a bad game. It's just nitpick things. But before I get to talk about the things that I'm kind of like meh on the fence about, let's talk about the things I do love. So first and foremost is just the game looks great and it plays absolutely amazing. It's super smooth, and I've genuinely had a really great experience running around and playing the game. I want to go over here to the next town over, Weaver's Fen, because one of the other things I want to talk about is how good the music is in this game. It's one of the few games where I have genuinely found myself just sort of hanging out and listening to music in the background while I work on other things. So I'll just log in on the PlayStation and just sit there and have this game running in the background, and go from there. Yeah, I love this song. Have you guys seen the movie The Fountain by Darren Aronofsky? Like, I get some themes. It's just really good. We'll let that play in the background while I talk about some more of things here. I love the art style. I have genuinely enjoyed all of the biomes that we've gone through, whether it's Brightwood with its orange and green kind of fall foliage, to something like the Fen, which is a nasty, gross marsh with swampy oils and creepy monsters all over the place, and sort of like these ramshackle buildings that are just kind of stacked up here in the middle of nowhere. But the art has been really good. The overall content, one of the things I appreciate, because I did play the launch version of this game when it first came out, and I remember one of the complaints I had at the time that it came out, I would have given the game, I would have to go back and see what I reviewed the game at when it came out, Off the top of my head, I feel like I would have probably given the initial launch version of this game a 6.5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10, which means it's a solid experience, but there were some cracks. One of the things I didn't like was there weren't enough cutscenes for me, and the main story wasn't quite as cohesive as I normally would enjoy in a cinematic narrative experience. The New World Aeternum, part of the whole sort of pushing in this direction and launching this console edition, is taking the existing main storyline, the MSQ main series quest, and adding a bunch of new cinematic cutscenes and a new story that sort of overlaps on top of what was there, and enhancing it in such a way that it now has a completely different flow from what I remember at launch. And it makes a lot more sense now as you're going through and understanding how this island works, sort of like the island from the show Lost, moving through time, and how all these different cultures have come here and been shipwrecked, and some of the shipwrecked people turn into Lost, and some of them become the NPCs of the town here that never die, and some of them are like us, recent additions to the island, and there are people who have been here for centuries and people who have been here for thousands of years. And the main storyline for me has been the primary motivating factor for why I've been having so much fun, because anybody who comes to my channel and sticks around for a while knows that the reason I play games is for story. I love story. So for me, the number one driving factor is, does it have a good narrative? Is the voice acting good? Are the cutscenes fun? Do I like the art style? Do I feel engaged in the story? Is it an interesting story? Is it a tropey story? And I will say that the main series here is fulfilling all the things that I need out of a game, and it's also quite big. I am around 30 hours into the game, and I'm only level 41. I believe 65 is the cap, so I have a long way to go. I've been told it's around 50 hours for the main storyline, so I'm anticipating around 50 hours of gameplay just for that alone. Then outside of that, you have all of the side quests. And somebody had asked the other day, I believe it was in the video I did, on how much content is there in the game. The side quests being like as you're running around and exploring these yellow diamonds that you'll find. Some of these are one-off fetch quests or delivery quests that will, they're your traditional fodder for MMOs that you'll find in any live service game. The ones that are one-offs can feel a little bit generic, but they feel that way in every single game that you play that's a live service game. So I'm not going to say that that New World is unique in that it has generic fetch quests. However, there are also chain quests that are these. There are certain side quests that are chain quests, which have 3, 4, 5 different steps, and those feel like little mini story arcs in and of themselves that can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 or 4 hours to complete. And with all the voice acting and everything else going on, they can be quite entertaining, even if some of them might be kind of tropey. Like, for example, I did one today during the live stream where there was a lady who had adventured with these guys in the past, and they had fallen to corruption, and she needed to redeem some things, and so we had to go take out these 3 captains. So there was 3 different stages of the quest that took us to these 3 different areas where we took out the 3 mercenaries that she used to work with, and each one had its own little story and own little area where it was. And that's the other thing I would like to point out, is that within this massive map that we have, not only are each of these biomes really unique, because like Weaver's Fen, we can run out here and you can see, like, I'm just gonna go peek out the front. Where's the nearest gate? This is very bleak and kind of ugly and marshy and mist and swamp and just kind of like, meh. I don't really want to go run around here. It's kind of creepy and nasty, but it's got an aesthetic to it. But then we can say, let's travel down to, I love Brightwood, so let's go down to where we at here? Well, actually, let's do Everfall. Always go down here. Go into Oxborough. And we can see a completely different aesthetic. And this is where you can get, and the cool thing here is, like, this is where, as you start running around, you'll start coming across ancient civilizations that have been here before, and you'll find crumbling ruins and obelisks and pyramids that look Egyptian and Mayan, and there's weird spheres in the ground, and the you know, the expeditions themselves, which have their own unique art style, and the dungeons. And there's of course the ancients. Who were the ancients? I don't know yet. I haven't found out. I don't know if we do find out. But supposedly they're, you know, they've built these things in the island. Oh yeah, here's this place looks like very much kind of like early London maybe, and you can see around us we have bright green and orange trees, right? But then you can go back to like where I have my home set up. And again, I've only been going for a few days, so looking here, I like the look and feel of the village that I'm in because it feels a little more rustic. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. But the landscapes and the vistas that we've seen as we've run around have been impressive, and there we've met people from the Roman Empire, we've met people from the Egyptian times, we've met people from lots of different cultures, and we've seen ruins from lots of different cultures, and that has been very intriguing to me, and I really want to learn more about the history of the island and who the ancients were and everything else. And some of that story is told through the blue pages that you find. Anyway, not to get sidetracked, but look at the way that these houses look compared to the place we just were, and that giant windmill up there. This is where my house is set up, which is, I just really love this town and the way it looks. And then we can go outside and take a look at the environment itself and the biome here in a minute. But going through here and seeing all the different styles of biomes and places that you can see. By the way, this is my house. I've got a puppy dog out front. I don't have anything in the house yet, so that's something else we'll do another time. But we can come out here and we've got, you know, rocks and crags and mountainous stuff, and this isn't a this is not the golden foliage that we saw earlier. This is definitely more of an evergreen Pacific Northwest type environment. And as we go out into the landscape here, the music kind of changes a little bit, and we can see out into the distance, and we can see into a completely different biome. Over there, we've got, looks like shipwrecks and stuff. If you can see it, you can get to it. I love seamless games where there's no zones, and that's something they've done very well here. But going back to the storyline and some of the things we've seen, I just love this little outpost. This is why I chose to make this place my home. It just felt right. Like right now with the main storyline, without spoiling too much, I am working with some characters from the Avalonian myths, from the King Arthur tales. And this is after having worked with people from the Roman Empire and so on and so forth. So it's been very interesting to see how they've taken some of the public domain characters and created these unique components. Ooh, hemp. This gets me into the next part of the thing I really love about this game, harvesting and crafting. Harvesting and crafting is extremely addictive. Listen to this. Oh, somebody was out there. The sound effects for all the harvesting. The pickaxes, chopping down trees. We've had multiple people talking about how one of the things they love about this game is just running around and chopping down trees for hours on end. I'm telling you, with 7.1 surround sound headset, the thonk of the axe. Oh yeah. Now I also chose to be a musketeer with an archetype, so that means I have a musket and a rapier. The sound of the musket is incredibly crisp. The sound design in this game, as well as the soundtrack, is absolutely phenomenal. The newly designed archetypes are a welcome change in my mind, because when you first started the game, you still have all of the original weapon types that the game launched with, so you can choose all of those. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. So you could, if you wanted to, you could level up every single one of those, and we'll open that up here in a minute, but I want to jump up here and try to get a better view if I can. Show you guys a bit of a view out across the landscape. I don't know how high up this thing we can get. Never mind. I was trying to get up there and see if we could see one of the obelisks that's exploded, because it's really cool looking. And I found out the other day who exploded the obelisk, and we were literally on stream when that happened, and I was like, oh my god, my mind has been blown with the way that they were playing with the King Arthur myths. Cool stuff. Anyway, the archetypes now, where you can go in and have basically you start the game with a couple of weapons and some trade skills already leveled up to 50, which is great because there are a lot of trade skill things to work on here. And you can master every single one of these on one character. It's amazing. Also, with weapons, you can master all of these if you want to. Now, I've been focused just on rapier and musket. That's where I choose to play. There's also we went into this already in another video. There's mounts now, which came with a DLC on a couple years back on the PC. But obviously with this Aeternum thing, we're taking everything that was on the PC, launching it onto PS5 and Xbox for the first time, and then bringing the PC version up to speed with the new quests and new systems and everything else. So there's lots of mounts to choose from. There's lots of quests to do. It's a massive map. But then we get into the activities. And we talked about this the other day. The game is primarily a PvE game, action RPG. It is an MMO, but you can play it like me as a single player game. You don't have to participate in any of the group-based activities if you don't want to. And the PvP, while still here, it still exists in the game, and it still is a focus if you want to participate in the end game, which is settlement wars, and a lot of the the battle pass stuff. A lot of that stuff leans into the PvP of the game with the syndicates and everything else if you want to get involved with those things. It's not mandatory, it's optional. And so all of these things, these activities, are things that you can do outside of adventuring on your own. So not only do you have your single player content, you also have 12 dungeons, and then there's a new raid that came with Aeternum and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then there is there's two versions of this battle pass. One is the free version, and I kind of look at it as like this. Like the free version, it's just kind of like you're getting extra rewards for playing the game. And there's things that you can do along the way. You're getting these journey things filled out as you play, but there's also the activity card where you are finishing up activities. And then once you're done, you can choose to finish the card, and you get some XP towards the next level of the track, and then you can continue. It's kind of like bingo, but the free version, you're just getting extra things. You're getting things like transmog tokens, extra weapons, crafting tools, things of that nature. And then down here is the paid track. So if you want to get access to those things even more quickly, you can choose to pay a monthly subscription and have access to the premium battle pass, which I think is great for the people who want to go whole hog in this game. It's kind of like the way I play Lord of the Rings Online and Star Wars: Age of Republic and World of Warcraft, right? Like if I'm going to go play those games, I'm going to go hard for 3 months, 4 months, and while I'm playing, I am more than happy to give them $15 a month for my time, because then I get all the perks that go along with being a VIP. But things like LOTRO and Star Wars: Age of Republic, you can also play free, still access all the cool stuff in the game. You just sort of don't have the convenience items that you would get if you were paying the monthly sub. So if you're someone who wants to go whole hog into New World, you can totally go in for the monthly subscription for the battle pass, but it's entirely optional. None of this is buy to win. None of this is pay to win. Don't believe anybody who tries to tell you otherwise. This is just all convenience stuff, because you could totally get it for free, or you can grind it out, but you can get it more quickly if you would like to pay for that convenience. No different than the real world. You know, if I'm going to go on a flight, I could pay for the convenience of first class and have a nice bed, or I can sit back and coach and have less leg room. It just depends on what you want to pay. So I think overall it's a really, really good experience. Now I do have some nitpicks. Obviously, I mentioned the fetch quests. Those are like any other game, and I think that that's a fair thing to point out. They're not all of the side quests are up to the same standards as the main quest. My number one nitpick is whenever you are talking to an NPC and engaged in quest dialogue with them. I don't know that there's anybody. Well, there's somebody just north of us. Let's go talk to them really quick. Oh, my vertigo. Let's go over here and talk to the, I think it's the fishing NPC. is somewhere over here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I just killed a poor little rabbit. Poor little bunny rabbit. Whee! And yes, this is the cool wolf mount that I got for pre-ordering on the PS5. It's awesome. I believe there's an NPC here we can talk to. Alright. Let's talk to him.
Oh, the fish aren't biting much today.
Alright. Voiceovers. They're amazing in this game. I love them.
Merde. Have I disappointed your plans?
So here I am in a conversation. Now, the nitpick I have is that if you're in a conversation with an NPC in an area where it's dangerous, if a mob hits you, it pulls you out of the conversation. Same thing if you are investigating one of the notes that you can find in the game world. I don't think there are any around here right now that we could click on, but you'll find these. There's one right there. This is a perfect example I can show you. And the ones that are just like random ones that have like lore snippets are like these. They don't have any voiceovers, but they're still, you open it up and there's something you want to read. The main quest ones have a voiceover as well. Also, when you're here, if an NPC attacks you, you'll start taking damage while you're reading this, and so you don't actually want to sit here and finish reading this. You want to close it all down and go out of it, fight the mobs, and then you have to come back and restart it, and that's very annoying. And one of the things I wish they would do as a quality of life feature, and I don't know if they ever will, but anytime I'm reading something or in a conversation with an NPC, I would love it if they would make my character invulnerable so that nothing can attack me. Just put a collider on me. I am invisible at this point in time. Nothing can touch me. Let me immerse myself in the dialogue or the quest stuff that I'm reading. That's kind of annoying. There have also been I've had some crashes on the PS5. Now, I get crashes with almost every game I play, so I don't ever judge a game by the crashes. No Man's Sky is an 8-year-old game. I get crashes when I play it on the Series X. I get crashes when I play it on the PC. I've got Baldur's Gate 2, which has been out for decades. I get crashes on that game sometimes when I play the enhanced edition. Like every game I play, I get crashes at some point. Thanks for the follows, guys. Anyway, so there have been some PS5 crashes. Most of them happen when I'm fast traveling, so it's related to the resources loading. There was one today, though. I was running across the screen, and it actually completely crashed my PS5, which that hasn't happened so far with any other game that I've played on the PS5 so far. So there definitely appears to be some optimization stuff that they could do, because the performance is great, but there are some crashes that are happening. So these are little things that, for my initial review, would take it from being like a solid 9 out of 10 and bump it down to an 8. I'll know more once I get a little bit deeper into this game and I get more towards, the 50 to 60 hour mark and I'm ready to leave my final review. But I gotta say, this has by far been one of the best live service launches that I've played in the last few years. I would really be hard-pressed to think of other ones that have done it better. So I got to give credit to Amazon Game Studios for making this an exceptional launch across the consoles and bringing the PC version up to parity and providing us with crossplay, because that's an engineering feat in and of itself. So pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop those down in the comments below. Daily streams happen at 9 a.m. Mountain. We normally just do YouTube and Twitch multi-streaming, but we just recently started adding TikTok to the mix, so you can catch me live every single day. It's my day job. I do this full time. YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and we're probably going to be starting to live stream on Twitter X very soon as well, so stay tuned for all that. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, happy gaming, have a great time out there. Look forward to seeing your comments down below.